That's fine as long as you're a good person, but when you go around and saying, but it says here that these are the chosen people, that this is God's chosen people. Well, God said to me last night, and He wants me to pass it right away, that we are all the chosen people. And I think that is one of the things that Jesus was trying to say when He was here. He was trying to say that there's no hierarchy, there's no special group. No, sir. We all can have a seat. We all have a seat at the table. There is no such thing as chosen people. We're all chosen people. We're all chosen people. And there is no just one little dot in all of God's creation that's called the Holy Land. No, it's all holy. Then that is why this new Bible needs to be written to clear up some of this complete nonsense. Oh, and here's another one that about the science. It seems as though more and more people are saying more and more it's out there, the confusion. The more science reveals what really is, the more people say, well, no, that's against God. That's against God. No, it is not against God. It may be against what was established in some book by people who did not know, by people who were ignorant, and now it is being more and more put out there by people who want you to remain ignorant. But I gotta tell you something, you gotta think about it like you're going to a chili cook-off. You gotta think about it like God gave you a brain for a reason. He gave you the ability to reason for a reason. And when you go to a chili cook-off, and you go to this chili cook-off, you've got all this chili in front of you. You've got Brother Ben's chili, you've got Sister Martha's chili, and you've got Brother David's chili, and so on. Now, what are you going to do there? You're going to take a taste of one of the chilies and go, okay, I'm thinking that's maybe a little too spicy for myself. You take another taste of another chili and you're like, oh, I don't know what's going on with this. It's a little sour. It's missing something. I don't know. That sort of thing. Well, that is what you're doing. You are comparing and contrasting, and then you come up with a consensus. It's not hocus pocus. It's not against God. It's what God gave you a brain for, and that is all that scientists are doing, and they're not coming out lying to you. Think about it. Why would they do that? Why on earth would they lie to you? They got no reason. They got no reason on earth to lie to you. But the people out there that are telling you, boy, beware of these people. Those are the ones who are lying to you. Those are the ones who want you to turn your brain off. They want you to shut your brain down. They want you to not taste the chili. They want you to just surrender to whatever they tell you. But God does not want that. God did not give you a brain so that you could just toss it in the wind and listen to whatever some yo-yo tells you. No, God gave you the ability to taste it. He gave you the ability to compare and to contrast and to make decisions for yourself. That is what God wants. If God did not want that, He would have never designed you that way. No, and no man and no woman out here has the right to take away what God gave you. And moreover, you do not have the right to call yourself a Christian, a believer in God, a believer in Christ, and then to just willy-nilly it away. Just to sit back and say, I just won't use my brain. I'm not going to think. And if somebody tells me something, I'll just say, oh yeah, okay, that's what it is. No. And that is what is wonderful about the new Bible that we're coming out with. We're going to put it all back in your hands. And we put it in your hands. When it's in your hands, that's when it gets in God's hands. Because your hands are God's hands. God's hands are your hands. It's important. By God, He wants you to know that. He wants you to know that. No more sitting on the sidelines. No more letting somebody else tell you how it is or what it is. You gotta do your own tasting. Nobody gonna go. You don't go to that chili cook-off and just sit back and just sit back at the picnic table and everybody come up and say, "Oh, this is the best chili. This is how." No, you go out there and you check it for yourself. That's what you do. And you look into things. You look into things. You learn about things. You study things, and you then make the best decisions. Because and you do it, and you do that, and you make the decisions based on goodness. And no matter what you're doing, no matter what comes up, you got to understand Jesus. And you say to yourself, in this instance, what would Jesus do? Because I got news for you. He's watching you. Yes, watching you. Watching you. You ain't sneaking nothing. No, this ain't like when you were a little kid. And, you think, okay, there, Mama and Aunt Marie, they're in the living room. They're not going to see me take this cookie. And then I take the cookie and I go in the living room and act like, oh boy, I'm just Mrs. or Mr. Little Innocent. God knows. God sees you taking that cookie. Don't be going around being two-faced. Don't be going around doing what you know ain't right. Either that or just say, you know what? I don't care. I don't care what God thinks. If that's the case, good on you. But don't be professing you do when you don't. That's going to be real clear in the new Bible here. Yes, sir. Yes, it is. Praise be. Praise be. Oh, Lordy, tell it like it is, Preacher Joe. We're going to wrap up this sermon right now because we got a lot of work to do, don't we? Oh my, that is so true. Praise be. So I'm going to leave you with this last little thought to work on and think about, a little introspection, a little self-introspection. And if you don't know what that means, it means quietly sitting with yourself and thinking about yourself, thinking about the way you interact with people. I want you to start doing this if you aren't already. At the end of the day, when you lay down and you're getting ready to go to sleep, before you do that, before you think about what you're going to do the next day, I want you to run it through your head, a little recap of what you did today. Of what you did today. And think to yourself how you were with this situation and how you talked to these people and kind of really let it all sink in and say to yourself, what could I have done different? What could I have done that would have made things better? What could I have done to not let that person maybe hurt my feelings like they did? What do I need to do to make things better in my life and others around me? Some people I don't think ever do that. I think some people go through life and they don't do that. And they go around saying, well, I'm a Christian, so there it is. I'm a Christian. That's it. I can do no wrong. I am, it's like that takes everything off of me. That takes it all off of me. I can do no wrong. I call myself a Christian. Well, according to God, that is not how it works. No. You can't just get up. You can't just go through life. For example, I have never had a lick of fireman training. All right, I've never been to any kind of school where I've been taught how to, fight fires or do anything like that. So I can't just say, oh, I'm a fireman, when the fact of the matter is, I've never ridden in a fire truck. I've never handled a fire hose. That's what I think a lot of people go around. They say, well, I'm a Christian, when they don't know the first thing about it. No, they may go to church, but that is the same thing as basically standing in a firehouse, and you walk into the firehouse and you stand around, maybe have a donut or two, and you say, well, I'm a fireman. I'm a fireman. No, that does not make you a fireman. And I think one of the things that has really, really hurt God, in fact, I know it, and that is so many people claiming to be of God and with Jesus, and claiming that Jesus is their holy Redeemer, when they are three things consistently that don't match up. and that is selfish. Yes, selfish. Very selfish. I see it all the time, and I know it hurts me, and now I know it hurts God. Short-sighted. Short-sightedness is awful because all you can think of is, well, today, and you don't think about tomorrow, and I think we're seeing the results of that as our planet begins to die off and our children begin to have no future. But boy, I'm for today. I think I'm going to get a better pay raise now because of look at what these corporations are being allowed to do, thanks to the people I voted for, thanks to the people who let all the regulation just go out the window and poison our water and all that, because today, boy, it sure feels good. Boy, looks like maybe a few more jobs are being created today. No thought of tomorrow. No thought of tomorrow. God's creation and God's wants and wishes, no thought at all. That's short-sightedness. And lastly, the third S. We've got selfishness, we've got short-sightedness. Lastly, the third S is stupidity. Plain and simple. Not using the brains that God gave you and just walking like you're in some kind of zombie funk. God gave you a brain. Probably the most incredible thing that you have from God, and you just don't use it. And you just don't use it. You don't think. You let someone else do the thinking for you, and you throw up this, I'm a Christian. It does not work that way. God did not. That is so disrespectful. That if there's such a thing, and if you want to talk about sin, just surrendering your brain and not using it, I would say that is totally sinful. That is a big sin. And that's what God said to us. This new terminology that He calls people that don't use their brain and just throw it out there. Hey, I'm a Christian, that's it. I don't need to do another thing. I walked into the firehouse. I'm a fireman. I don't need to do another thing. He calls you lazy faithers. He calls you lazy faithers. You say you've got faith, but what are you doing to exercise it? You're not using your brain. You just surrendered it. You go around like I said, you go around like you're in some kind of zombie funk, being stupid. So, I'm going to conclude with that. I want you to do some self-introspection and be honest with yourself and say to yourself, am I being these things? Am I being selfish? Am I being short-sighted? Am I being stupid? And then if you can be honest with yourself in any of those things, you say to yourself, I am being selfish, I am being short-sighted, I am being stupid. Then you've got to say to yourself, am I going to just keep doing this and keep going against God, or am I going to make some changes, and am I going to not be a lazy faither anymore? Am I going to be a real vessel for God to work through? Am I going to be able to go out and lift people up and lift myself up and lift everybody up by doing right and stop running down the same path of meanness and orneriness? That's what you need to do, and I want you all to take that with you now. I want you to take it with you, and I want you to do something with it. Praise be. Preacher is brought to you in part by Zipskits, the podcast everyone is talking about. Go to zipskits.com to find out for yourself. There's a ton of podcasts, but there's only one Zipskits. Zipskits.com.